immigrants to Louisiana in the 1700s, right? So this is, Asians have been, and then in the early 1800s, Chinese and Japanese immigrants, as well as South Asian, like they were here for work, right, since the 1800s. So they've been part of the U.S. landscape, but there are just no stories told in Hollywood about them, right? So this is a problem. Because then that really makes people think they're not American because they never see any kind of American stories. And then this is Rita Moreno. So she's actually in, if you guys haven't seen One Day at a Time, this kind of sort of reboot, not really, but if you can stream all of it on Netflix, really actually very good. A very good dramedy. So she says, I played a lot of little Senorita, Lolita, Conchita, Lolita kind of spitfire roles, everything but an American Girl. I was the utilitarian kind. So, she won the Best Supporting Actress back in for West Side Story. And she played a bunch of, and in my book I talk about how she links her depression to partly having to portray these kind of roles that she felt like didn't represent herself. So this is something that a lot of the actors of color talk about, that they pay an emotional cost that white actors don't pay in terms of the kinds of daily grind and having to always make these decisions about, do I eat? Do I take this role? Do I think that this role is going to get me to something better? Or do I quit? So what do actors of color, how do they deal with this, right? So one thing that B.D. Wong, if you guys don't know B.D. Wong, he also peaked really early. He won the Tony for M. Butterfly, so he's awesome. But then, he's been underutilized, right? So someone who's really talented, a really good actor, but there's just no roles for him. So he actually will go and challenge. He'll say, casting calls will say All-American Boy, and I will show up. Like, he show up, right? I make him deal with it, and I make him say it. Well, what we actually meant was a blonde person. Everybody knew that's what they meant, and I'm stupid enough to go in there and call them out on it, only just to create a sense of conversation, right? So what I found, so one of the reasons why I did the study was like, why would actors of color want to do this job? It seems like there's no roles. You're constantly being judged and being told to do stereotypes, and talk with an accent, or behave. They'll casting directors will actually say, be more black, be more urban, be more spicy, be more Latin. They use Latin. Be more Asian, and they mean like be more stereotyped, right? They will say the race and mean the stereotype. And so, but a lot of them, they feel like they're activists, even if they're not, picketing. They still want to work, but they'll do things like this. They'll go in and just call people out, like just existing, right? Or they'll say, can I not wear this kimono? Can I not wear the sombrero? It doesn't quite make sense. So they'll challenge costumes, or they'll rewrite dialogue, right? Because maybe they won't catch them, right? I had one African American actress. She played a bank teller, and she rewrote the kind of whatever jargon or slang that was written that didn't make any sense. She rewrote it, and then the director actually caught her and was like, "Why did you rewrite all like half of your dialogue?" And then she couldn't. All she could say was like, "Oh well, I'm a bank manager. I don't think a bank manager would talk like that, right?" She's not going to say that this is racist, because that will lose her job. You can't pull out the race card. And then so they were still debating it, but then it was a variety show, and the star of the variety show came by, and I don't want to give away too much, but she's British, so she came by, and then she's like, "What's going on?" And then she explained the same thing again, bank manager, and then the star actually said, too street. Yeah, go ahead and change it. So she was an ally in that instance, right? But I also had another instance where an actor of color, an Asian American actor, it was a sitcom where it took place in the South, and they asked him to do an accent. He's like, I want to do a Southern accent, because we're in the South, right? So he's trying to challenge it, but then the star was like, no, I don't want that. And he said that she didn't want to be upstaged, right? Because it would be pretty, he would stand out as an Asian guy speaking with a Southern accent. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this is the stuff that they're trying to do behind the scenes, right? They're trying to change, even though actors really aren't responsible. I think it's really the writers, the producers, people that greenlight the projects. But actors do try to change. So, like I said, I was going to say a little bit about Oscar Isaac. I just saw him in a trailer he's playing an Armenian. Have you guys seen that? It's a new film with him and I think Christian Bale. Christian Bale. I think it's Christian Bale. He's like in everything. So he has played lots of different roles, right? I don't even know if he's actually played a Latinx character. Anyone know? I have not seen that. So if you didn't know, he's Guatemalan. Another Latinx national, but here he is talking about his real name. So he says, starting out as an actor, you immediately worry about being pigeonholed or typecast. I don't want to just go up for the dead body, the gangster, the bandolero, whatever. I don't want to be defined by someone else's idea of what an Oscar Hernandez should be playing. So I use my middle name, Isaac. You guys know that. Anyway, so a lot of the Latinx actors that I know, that I talk to, actually not a lot, but several of them actually changed their surnames in order to get more roles. Right. I mean, this isn't just exclusive to Latinx. Chloe Bennett, who's Papa actress on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., her real name is Chloe Wong, and she couldn't get roles because she would come in and she didn't look, again, ethnic enough, right? So then she wouldn't get roles. But once she changed her name, she took her father's first name because she felt bad. Think about how much work, emotional work actors of color have to go through. I don't want to get rid of my last name, but then I can't get any work. So she took her father's first name so that, she doesn't completely discard her family heritage. So her father's name is Bennett Wong, and she took Bennett. And then she got cast at the right? So that was a big deal. So actors of color, if they can, some of them do use that. But isn't this this is just terrible that our society can't kind of conceptualize someone with ethnic, even though we all have ethnicity. But the way to think of that, they have to have a European sounding surname to be able to get roles, right? So again, this kind of confirms the fact that there are just not enough roles, leading roles for people of color, because even by the surname of actors, they're excluded, right? Just based on that. Okay, so the other side of the coin, not really, between a rock and a hard place, is a lot of times actors of color aren't ethnic, right? And this is because all the roles in Hollywood are stereotyped, right? They're not able to actually represent people of color as they are, right? Which is, we have culture, right? But then we don't necessarily all speak with accents. And even if we did, it doesn't mean that we're the comic relief, right? Because a lot of times the person that's speaking with an accent is seen as the clown in the show. So this is Eva Longoria, and she talks about how when she started, she had to deal with this kind of fitting in a box. So she says, I didn't speak Spanish growing up. I'm ninth generation, right? I mean, I'm as American as apple pie. I'm very proud of my heritage, but I remember moving to LA and auditioning and not being Latin enough for certain roles. Some white male casting director was dictating what it meant to be Latin. He decided I needed an accent. He decided I should have darker colored skin, right? So skin color, accents, these are expectations, again, that white actors are not subject to, right? So this is America Ferrera, and she talks a little bit more about the accent and being confused about what they want. So she says, my very first audition, I was 16, and the casting director for a commercial said, can you do it again, but sound more Latino? I had no idea what she was talking about. You mean you want me to speak in Spanish? She's like, no, do it in English, but just sound more Latino. I genuinely didn't realize until later that she was asking me to speak English with a broken accent. Right? So there is this confusion, right? Because they'll say, do it more like the race. And it's like, well, this is what this is what people in my race sound like, And I think that this is her first. So this is kind of like, she had to become socialized into the culture to understand what they mean, right? And what they mean is always the stereotype. So I had one actor of color, he's Chinese American, and he was asked to do a Japanese gangster role, audition for a Japanese gangster role with a Japanese accent. So he was like, okay, who's a Japanese person that I know? And he thought Toshio Mifune, right, the kind of famous Japanese actor, and how he speaks, with a certain accent when he speaks English. And so he did it like that, and she's like, no, that's not Japanese. And so he's like, okay, what does she want, right? And he realized that maybe she just wants kind of the stereotype, kind of Chinese-esque, but that accent, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about where that accent comes from. So he did that kind of stereotype accent. And she's like, that's it, that's the Japanese accent I'm looking for. So as you may know, there's no school for casting directors, right? They're just kind of, they learn on the job, right? And part of the learning on the job is learning about the stereotypes, right? And expecting the stereotypes. So, and he didn't even get the role. After all that, right? After all that work, he didn't get the role. But the origins of that kind of Xing Chong weird accent is from Yellowface, right? It's coming out of the first white actors that performed Chinese characters or Asian characters in Yellowface, and they had some stereotype accent in their mind, and they made that up, and that's the same accent that now Asian American and even Asian actors are expected to perform. I wonder if they have an Asian actor who has an authentic Asian accent, whether they ask them to do it more like stereotype. I didn't interview any international actors, but that would be an interesting research question, whether they're like, no, that's not the Asian. I am from Asia. That's my accent, Whether that would even happen, I don't know. So this is Christine Ninyang. So she is Afro-Latina, right? So we have our society, our ability to deal with like racial ambiguity or racial, like that fact that someone could be an ethnicity in a different race, Hollywood can't deal, right? So she talks about, so the video, we don't have time, but I actually have video clips of them talking. So she talks about it. She says, my agent was saying, okay, we're having trouble. We sent her out for Latina roles, but they're looking for a fair skin or Mexican. I ended up booking more African American roles. I still to this day have trouble booking a lot of Latina roles just because I'm brown. So she's able to speak Spanish. It doesn't matter because she doesn't look hard, right? So because our society is just incapable of creating roles that actually represent people that actually live here, right? So this is the issue. So coming up on time, yes? Okay. So follow me on Twitter and Facebook. And so all this came out of my book. And my book, I'm proud of my book because I've had high schoolers and actors read it. So it's actually, and probably academics won't like it, but no, I don't know. It's very easy to read. So that was my goal because my audience was not necessarily academia, but it's really hard actually for academics not to write academically, right? So if you guys want to hear more about that in the afternoon panel about how to kind of try to reach a public audience, which has been my goal since I sat down and thought I'm going to take my research and what kind of book am I going to write? I don't want to write an typical academic book, and how I went about that, especially in the conclusion chapter, which academics usually use to kind of link back to theory and how this is the field. I hate those chapters. I really hate reading them. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not such an academic nerd, but I read this book. If you guys have ever come across, it's called Reality Bites Back. It's a really, really great book, and it's written by a non-academic, I think. Anyway, the final chapter she had was she compiled all these activists and advocates and like suggestions of how to change society for the better and how to gain critical media literacy. And I thought it was just brilliant. So I thought, okay, I'm going to write that kind of chapter, but I kind of stepped over a cliff, right? Because I was like, I don't know how to do this because academics, like sociologists especially, we like to identify the problems. We never tell you how to solve them. That's not our job, right? Because that's a really hard thing. I mean, it's important to name, it's important to name the problems. And so I did that as my final chapter. And that's actually the chapter that most people who are outside of academia cite. They're excited about it. They like that I have solutions, which I think what academics should be doing, right? Especially for a time such as this, we should be doing work and speaking into what can we do to change society. Thank you so much.